Right, channel roundup, channel news, channel update. I didn't get a chance to do one last month, mainly because the Motorcycle Live 2019 event at the NEC took up most of my time during the period where I would normally make this video. And I don't really want to make two channel roundups in 1 month, so this one is going to serve as both the November and the December channel roundup, which basically means this will be the last one of the year. Now, the bulk of this video is going to be the channel direction for next year and a bit of spleen venting on my part. The bigger a YouTube channel gets, the more haters and trolls it attracts. So I want to deal with that in this video. Also, there's been some major changes to YouTube, certainly since I started, and YouTube is about to undergo the biggest changes yet. So that's something I want to discuss. But first of all, a little bit of news of the kind that I normally put in these updates. Willow, people are still asking about him. I haven't had a chance to actually take any footage of him this week. Thanks for all your well wishes and inquiries. Willow is doing fine. It's pretty much the same as he's been for the last 6 months now. He's adapted to the changes in his lifestyle very well, I think. We still manage to get out every morning for about a mile walk. Not what he's been used to for most of his life. We used to do about 8 miles a day. But on the whole, he seems quite happy. I've got no immediate worries about his general health and, you know, the way his bad leg affects him. It's just an ongoing situation that I've got to monitor. Next up, Motone Customs. Their Barracuda, or Cuda as it's become known, circular die-cast finned tail light brake light assembly. These have been available for some time now in the polished aluminium finish, and so I believe have proved very popular. But Motone say that since they brought it out, almost daily they're getting emails asking for a black version. And they've just asked me to let you know that as of this week, there is the black version of the Barracuda now available from Motone Customs. It is basically exactly the same unit as before, but it's been anodised. So this is just a heads up to those of you that have been waiting for Motone to release it. Next up, a new range of tail tidies for the water-cooled twins from Motone. They brought out a new version a little while ago that does accept these round tail light brake light assemblies like the Barracuda. They've got several in the range, and I've actually got one of these. I've had one for some time, but I just haven't had the time so far to make a video on it. Now, one of the biggest inquiries or complaints about this tail tidy was that the brackets for the rear indicators were not removable, and people, understandably, having paid good money for the tail tidy when they wanted to use an alternative method of attaching their indicators, were a little bit shy about hacksawing the existing brackets off. Motone have listened to your concerns and your inquiries and have now produced a version that has removable indicator brackets. Again, they're only available from this week, and when I last spoke to Motone yesterday, they told me they were endeavouring to get the various versions of this tail tidy up onto their website. 2 products there where customers have made requests, and good on Motone for listening to those requests and endeavouring to satisfy demand. Right, this next bit, I don't really like making videos with this kind of content. I find it distasteful. But I think where it's appropriate, any responsible channel owner has to bring the subject up from time to time. And to be honest, this whole subject is massive. I don't really know where to start with it. YouTube is constantly making changes to the policies, the terms and conditions, the way that the YouTube platform is run, and the way that people that use YouTube, whether they're just viewing it or whether they're creating content, should behave. Now, a lot of people just think of YouTube as being a social media platform like Facebook or a Triumph forum or something along those lines. It's not. It's a video sharing platform. A sort of a continuation, if you like, of the public access channels that they used to have in America back in the 70s and the 1980s. They maybe do still have them, I don't know. It's classed in the same way that a TV channel might be classed, which means it's subject to some very exacting and stringent laws. Now, to be fair, Google, the company that owns YouTube, I think does as much as it can to keep the platform under control. But YouTube has become a monster. It's huge. So to some extent, it's had to defer some of those responsibilities onto people like me, the channel owners. I've always been fairly proactive in that department, but a lot of channels simply don't care. They don't bother monitoring the comments that people make and taking appropriate action. They just continue the way they've always continued. And this very recently has come to a head. YouTube recently found itself under fire from certain US government bodies and was facing some very serious court action regarding sort of failure to monitor and control content on the platform. And that includes comments and also some infringements relating to advertisements. Now, YouTube managed to settle out of court and they got off very lightly with a $170 million payout. Now, the experts say that if YouTube hadn't reached that settlement and they'd actually gone through the legal system, the fines for infringements could have well run into the billions, which I think would have shut YouTube down. Now, this understandably has prompted YouTube to take a major assessment of the whole YouTube platform and basically get a grip of it. Now, YouTube is a business, despite what a lot of people think. It's not just a charity designed to entertain people with time on their hands. YouTube is here to make money, and if it didn't make money, it wouldn't exist. It makes that money by presenting advertisements, those annoying things that we have to watch before we can watch the actual video that we've clicked to see. And a few months ago, it introduced what are called mid-roll adverts. And this is very similar to what you get when you're watching a TV program, where there'll be cuts in the actual program that you're watching that gives way to an advert and then it returns to the program. And they've done this for several reasons. One is to make more money. One is to offset the deficit between channels that are not monetized, because either it can't legally be monetized because it's a video that's aimed at children of under 13 years of age, or simply it's a channel who haven't reached the criteria to be able to monetize. Now, basically, these channels that are not monetized are a huge drain on a platform which is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There are more non-monetized video channels than there are monetized channels. Now, the way YouTube works is that it splits the revenue from those advertisements between people like me, the people who host the advertisement via our videos, and itself. Now, we can all be forgiven for thinking that YouTube is coining it in, and on the face of it, it is coining it in. But YouTube costs many millions of dollars a day to run, and it's subsidizing those non-monetized channels. And the word on the street is that there are now so many non-profitable, non-monetized channels that it's reaching the point where it's not sustainable. Now, I realized some time ago that YouTube was sharpening its axe to start getting rid of channels that it considers to be non-profitable. And this is no different from a business that has a chain of stores. If it's got shops that are not making any money or are losing money, it closes them down. And that is what YouTube is looking to do with channels that don't make money. So, as some of you may have realized, a couple of months ago, something that I've always resisted doing, I did. And I started to introduce mid-roll adverts to the videos that I produce. Now, for reasons that I won't go into, that doesn't really increase my revenue through this channel. It barely breaks even with those additional adverts on the videos. But I introduced those additional videos because I knew this was going to be a deciding factor in the future. I knew that profitability was going to come into it. You could see that the way YouTube was running wasn't sustainable. And lo and behold, about 2 weeks ago, YouTube introduced a new set of terms and conditions. And a new inclusion in those terms and conditions, among other things, was that YouTube now reserves the right to shut down non-profitable channels. It's pretty obvious that there's going to be some major culling taking place over the next 12 months or so. Now, what is noteworthy in the way that this has been done is that in the past, YouTube has issued strict guidelines on how things need to be in order to qualify for monetization. When I first started this channel, all you needed was 100 subscribers and you could monetize your videos. But what was happening is that there were channels emerging with questionable content who were managing to achieve those 100 subscribers fairly quickly. And then advertisers found that their adverts were being attached to videos with very inappropriate content, or videos where in the comments section the channel owner was allowing all sorts of unsavoury behaviour to take place. So they moved the goalposts and they changed the criteria to that you needed 1,000 subscribers and your channel had to have at least 4,000 hours of viewing time a year, and that closed tens of thousands of channels down overnight. Now this time they've issued no criteria at all, so we have absolutely no idea how far apart those goalposts are. You know, this channel in its current form might be okay, or come the 10th of December, which is when these new terms and conditions take effect, this channel could be added to the list of channels to be struck off. I don't know. No one knows. But one thing that YouTube has been pushing to creators for the last 12 months or so is to run your channel like a business. It's obvious that they've had an ulterior motive behind that, to encourage channels basically to start making some profit, because if they don't, they're going to die. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to lament that this is the end of an era and that it's a shame it has to be this way, but really, you know, let's be realistic. Those of you watching this video that go to work, don't go to work because you love your boss and you believe in the company you work for. You go to work to earn money so that you can live. And just as you don't go to work and work for free, YouTube creators can't create videos for free. Again, it's not sustainable. Each video that I produce takes a minimum of 16 hours to produce from start to finish. Some of them take a lot longer than that. So really, it is time for YouTube and YouTube creators to evolve and basically fall in line with what the rest of society is doing. I constantly am criticised by people in the comments section for the fact that they suspect I make money from my videos. Why the hell shouldn't I make money from my videos? I make them, I built the channel up, I put a lot of hard work into producing them, and I've put a lot of hard work into getting this channel into the position that it's in now. There seems to be this widespread acceptance that it's okay to try and make YouTube creators feel ashamed for trying to make a living, or at least recoup the costs for the work that they do. That's not okay. And that leads us on to another subject, the haters and the trolls. Now, I have once or twice in the past touched on this whole trolling and haters thing in an attempt to try and, you know, sort of coax people into being a little bit more civil and responsible in the way they conduct themselves in the comments section on the videos, sort of naively thinking that it would calm things down. But as the channel's got bigger, the problem has got bigger. I used to share a link to my videos on Facebook on what I thought were relevant groups. If it was a Triumph related video, I would share it onto the Triumph pages. If it was a Royal Enfield video, I would share it onto the Royal Enfield pages. Now, I did this really just as a courtesy. I don't make a penny from any views that come as a result of people clicking on those links. YouTube and Facebook are sort of rivals that hate each other. So when you click on a link on Facebook to a video on YouTube, it disables adverts. I don't make 1 penny from it. I did it purely as a service to like-minded people to bring products or advice to their attention if they wanted to look at it. But this became so problematic with trolls that what started to do in the end was I would share the video but I would disable the comments. And it even got to the point where certain people would start posts complaining about the fact that I'd disabled the comments, because that was basically stopping their trolling and hating behaviour. So about a month ago, I sort of assessed the situation with Facebook. Facebook, to be honest, from a YouTuber's point of view, is worthless. Not only can you not monetize the views that you get from Facebook, Facebook views are actually less than 0.25% of your entire views for a video. So I decided it quite simply wasn't worth the hassle anymore, and I no longer post on Facebook. Now this, for me, on YouTube has got so bad over the last few months that I have to admit, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, it started to affect my mental health. It's very easy for people to say, well, no, don't take any notice, just ignore the comments, or even don't read your comments. Now, the problem is nowadays, if you don't read your comments, you're lining yourself up for problems with YouTube for not monitoring and moderating your comments. And okay, you can just shrug off the odd derogatory or hateful comment here and there. But when you're putting hours and hours of work into producing a video that you think will be of interest to people, that you think will entertain them, and then every hour on the hour your emails come through, you have 10 new comments on your channel, and 2 of those comments are from trolls, criticising your accent, criticising the quality of the sound on your videos, accusing the review that you've made as being a paid promotion by the manufacturer for which you've received hundreds of pounds. Eventually, over the weeks and months, it starts to wear you down. So I decided to do a little bit of research into our fellow haters and trolls to find out really what makes them tick. And the results of that research are quite enlightening, because trolling behaviour is basically a symptom of mental illness. It's a behaviour that's a product of people who feel inadequate, that feel like they're underachieving in some way. And it's linked to what is known as tall poppy syndrome. Now, these people have a sort of a beta male competitive streak. And the only way that I can think of in a way to try and describe it is that they feel like they're in some sort of building competition. Most people, if they were asked to build a building that was better than anyone else's, they would make it bigger than everybody else's. They would make it taller than everyone else's. They would make it grander than everyone else's, to try and sort of win that competition to build the best building. Now, your haters and your trolls don't have the skills to build. They admire the personalities of the people that build the grandest buildings. They admire their skills and their achievements, but they know that they don't stand a chance of competing with them. They can't win the competition, so what they try to do is tear down everyone else's building. Now, the way they do this is that they'll watch your videos. I mean, they'll watch all of it, but they'll watch the video until the point where they find something negative that they can focus on. They're not actually watching those videos in the same way that normal people will watch a video to entertain themselves or to gain some sort of information. They're watching those videos for the sole purpose of finding something negative to comment on. And quite often it's barely related to the actual video that they're watching. And if they can't find something negative in the video, they'll pick on your accent or the way you talk. The idea that they have in their head being that by doing this, they are devaluing your video in some way. Other people are going to see their comment, and in other people's eyes, it's going to devalue your work, effectively bringing you downwards closer to their level, or so they imagine in their heads. So quite often ignoring them is the worst thing that you can do, because they're still getting satisfaction in their imagination that other people are reading what they have written and that it's having an effect on your channel, which just encourages them to continue doing it. And they can do this in an aggressive manner or in a passive manner. Some have learned that being overtly aggressive in the comments instantly gets their comment deleted and gets them blocked from commenting on the channel in the future. So they try to be a little bit more clever about it, and they'll use what is known as a passive aggressive comment, where to all intents and purposes a lot of people reading the comment won't see it as being in any way derogatory, because it's focused directly into the mentality of the creator of the video. Something that appears innocent but has an underlying insult contained in it. Now, they're doing this also to get attention. It's like I said before, it's associated with beta male mentality. The people of no note, people that no one notices, no one pays attention of. Quite often, the frustrated YouTube creators, because sometimes I've found that if I have a look at their profile, they do actually have a channel. You know, a channel with one subscriber, which is probably them. Dozens of really badly produced and crafted videos that no one's ever watched. They've come to the realization that they just haven't got what it takes to succeed on YouTube. So they go on the hunt for YouTube channels that they see as being more successful than theirs and try to bring them down to their level. And it's the same with posts on Facebook or any other type of forum or social media site. And these people are as cowardly as they are inadequate. It's a mental condition that's been clinically described as internet de-inhibition. We all know that if you walked into a pub and walked up to a big burly bloke at the bar and started to insult the way he looks, the way he dresses, the way he talks, there's an extremely good chance that the next thing that would happen is that you would be laying on your back with a broken nose and a concussion, or at least you would in the area that I live in. These people would never behave in this way in real life, but the internet gives them a way to disassociate their behaviour from the people that they're dealing with. They're anonymous, they can't be traced. The person that they're directing the abuse at is probably on the other side of the world, so there's absolutely no danger, no physical danger to them. Now, I found that what these people absolutely cannot cope with is a situation where you challenge them in a rational and intelligent manner by asking them to back up what they've said with some facts, to explain themselves, because that's not the kind of attention they want. They want an argument and they're not getting it. The first thing that they usually do is play the freedom of speech card, which again, to my mind, is a cowardly way of refusing to face up to your behaviour. Freedom of speech is all well and good, but we are all well aware of the effects that cyberbullying and trolling can have on people. It's a sickness, a disease, and it's one that can occasionally be a deadly disease. We've all seen the news reports, it happens all too often. We're all well aware of the tragic consequences that so-called freedom of speech can have on certain people. It's not an excuse and I won't accept it. Now, researching this and talking about it in this video, to be honest, has made me feel a little bit better about the situation, because it was getting to that point where it was really wearing me down. The strategy that I am going to use from now on is that any comment I find on my channel that I deem to be sinister, derogatory, whether directed at me or anyone else, or is constructed in a way as to provoke any form of argument, will immediately be deleted and the person concerned will be blocked from the channel. Now, occasionally I don't get to see all the comments. I do get alerts from YouTube when new comments come up, but some slip through the net and I don't find out about them. If any viewer on this channel finds themselves being subject to this kind of behaviour, my email address is available on the main page of this channel. Get in touch with me and let me know and we'll deal with it. Once again, thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate your views, and if you've got to this point in the video where you're still actually watching it and listening to me, you have my respect and thanks. I will be back next week as usual, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.